On Paisan, I'm Danny Sess. This is Sess Says, episode 20. We made episode 20, boys.
Damn.
And the other milestone we need to mention, it is exactly 100 days until Muscle Island. And no better person to talk about Muscle Island than Pogue. And we got Evan. Everyone knows Evan. Let's get into it, boys. Some good things to talk about here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn, I didn't even realize it's 100 days now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I tried to put on Instagram today, like, you know, they talk about like the road to Muscle Island, and it was like a car with like a sign. So it was like 100 to Muscle Island. That was if you know, you know type of deal.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, now that you say that, it connects the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember G did that. What was it, like the something to Shred Town or something like that when he's getting back in shape one year? That's what that reminded me of exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like all of us. Now it's like almost 1,000 people trying to get to it. So it's dope.
Yeah, as I'm getting ready to go to an island and like have a bourbon with G, I see him on Instagram like on an island, like smoking cigars. It's just, you know, I'm getting excited here, boys.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's definitely a different experience. Like being out there the first time, I was like literally in awe. You know, like it felt like I lived a year in one afternoon.
Yeah. You guys were both just recently at Beats and Barbells, and I thought it was cool. You know, you put on Instagram, both of you shirtless in the cold, like at the track. Like, I love that. You know, I had a lot of FOMO once I started seeing things like that. But maybe we could talk about that event. You know, you guys were living it firsthand.
Yeah, that was dope. I mean, I think like for me, I mean, once I went to the first island event, it was just kind of like a given, like, you know, I think I got to make it to every single one of them, you know, here on out. Like, it's like a non-negotiable. And I know, Evan, you talk about that quite a bit. Like you went to the first one and you were like, yeah, I'm not missing after this. So yeah, I mean, overall, just like the experience, the vibes, like it's always a good time, you know, just kind of being around the whole crew, whether it's, you know, just the guys at MaxEffort or whether it's, you know, a whole gang of, you know, a bunch of random people, you know. I think the coolest thing is what up, Billy? The coolest thing is just being connected with everybody that, you know, like around me, I don't got a bunch of people like this, you know, close by. So, you know, when you're in that environment, it's like, it's okay to be a psycho.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that will be a really surreal moment for me to be like around all you guys. Like, as far as I know, that you guys are all just like AI, you know, like, but until I see you in person, it'll be like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Billy, what's up, man? I'm happy you were able to join.
Yeah, sorry, just finishing up dinner.
Yeah, it's all good.
Gotta get that food.
We're real. We're real. I've touched both those guys.
Supposedly. When we were just saying about Muscle Island, you know, seeing them lunging at the track and stuff, it was really cool to see. So you were there too. You know, any experiences or just your takeaway on the whole event?
So the Muscle Island from last year?
No, Beats and Barbells.
Oh, Beats and Barbells, man. Oh, man. I didn't do the lunch sessions with these guys because my boy wanted to go to the Arnold Expo, so I had to trust Mike would behave okay because he was calling me daddy on the trip. So.
Yeah, I kept calling Billy dad the whole time. I was fucking with his son. I was like, yeah, dad's gonna take us out. You know, he's gonna take us out tonight. And yeah,
that's awesome. Seeing you guys at Wendy's too was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They made me freaking eat a freaking Baconator and 10-piece chicken nuggets, all this shit. You know?
He made you.
I think that made your pictures and on the website look way better though, Mike. You were looking shredded, bro. But Beats and Barbells was like, there's just not a way to explain the feeling when you go into old school gym. Just the atmosphere, the way people's attitudes are in there, like everybody's there the same like-minded, the same driven purpose. Like, I mean, you're there to go bang weights, get better, and have a good time. And it's just like, it's like I'm a single guy working out all the time. So going in there and then having other people like Tony Ramos giving me bench tips, like what the hell? Like that's wild.
Yeah.
But like, and then seeing these like what is it? Lee Bob, is that his name?
Yeah, Levi. Levi.
And then Trigger Warning Conjugate, Anthony Oliveira, and those dudes like throwing up like weights I've never seen be lifted in my life in person is just like, And I was not in the shape to jump in there, but I was so jealous. I had FOMO because I wanted to get under the. I would have never got to the levels they did, but I would have loved to at least get under the bar with them and have them yelling at me because that's like, it's amazing, that feeling. And but like, it's just you can't explain it, and it's hard to even put it into words until you experience it. It's like after when we did Muscle Island the year before, I was like, man, I just want to find a way to just have that to like snort every day.
Legit.
And then the speakers, man, I cut out early, but I've watched almost all of them now, and just hearing their stories and and people, they just kind of prove to you like it's never too late, and you have way more inside of you than you actually think you have. Like it's like, I mean, I've been taking so many risks in the last year and a half since Muscle Island because I was like, yeah, why not me? Like, where's that mindset come from? Like, I don't, and so that's what I'm kind of like, we'll do a shout out to Mr. Darren. He was saying something to me today about like, you're making it happen. I feel like I'm behind. I'm like, you are behind, but we're all behind. And I always had this little thing in the back of my head, like the fear, and that fear is always there. Like I just signed another multi-unit property today or last night, my second one. So I'm like, because I said 2025 is going to be the year of making things happen. And I'm like, it's scary, but hey.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that happens?
Yeah, you said a lot in that breakdown there, Philip. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to touch on the speakers. I was so happy that they posted the speaker stuff because I think everybody's always looking for like, anybody that missed the event is looking for lunge material to be able to feel like, you got to see what was actually happening. Was really cool. Like even Kenny was talking a little bit about what you were saying, like this imposter syndrome. Like, you tell yourself like, you don't deserve that. Like, no, like until you go and force it, you're capable of anything. And I think that's what's so powerful with this group. Like, it starts in the gym, but once you talk to all these guys, like all of you are so motivating to me. And I'm always like, I can do this because, X, Y, and Z.
Kenny's was super dope just because he was like, he touched on the fact that like he failed like 4 or 5 gyms or something before he had a successful one. And all these people telling him, go to a different city, it's not going to work here, this and that. Like that one was like one I really connected with.
Yeah.
And Kenny I kind of fanboyed out on Kenny because I'm a big MTV The Challenge fan. So
Evan got pulled over on the way to the gym.
Oh
no!
About that, Evan.
Yeah. So I woke up early, dude. I was so hyped for it, and I didn't know, I knew what to expect. I didn't know all the people are going to show up, and I didn't think I was driving super crazy, but Newark police pulled me over right in front of that speedway that's across the highway. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to the MaxEffort event." And they're like, "What's MaxEffort?" And I'm like, "Really? You work in Newark and you don't know what MaxEffort is?" But it's all good. But
it's like 3:30 in the morning or something. They're thinking Evan's drunk.
Oh yeah. Well, they probably there's people that are they've been up, and then there's the crazy ones like us that are getting up. So that was cool. But
the police officer's like, no one lifts weights at 3 a.m. What are you talking about?
Oh man.
And on a Saturday too. It was on Saturday this year. Yeah.
It's the only time I would lift weights that early in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, we know. And honestly, like, and just to speak on Billy's point, just the experience, because me and Billy are I think we're some of the only ones that have been at all 3 events, like all the events. And I'm pretty sure you were one of the first people I saw that I like recognized from the website, and I was like, oh shit, it's Billy. And then once you get in there, and like once you get there one time, then you come back for a second time, you just see the MaxEffort building, and you're there because there's no like windows or anything in there, but you just hear the music just like thumping, and there's just this tiny little just swing door that has a little code on it, but they keep it cracked open. And then you go in there, and everyone's just going at it like crazy. And there's like I always say it's like a little church, because they have like a little like refreshment area, but the refreshments is like pre-workout aminos, and I think there's even creatine on top of there.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. But I will say this, the speakers were amazing. But damn, it was so hard because I was gassed from getting up early. I was gassed from lifting weights, and I wanted to pay attention. But dude, I don't know if y'all experienced this. Dude, it was a struggle for me to just like sit down and just stay awake because I was so gassed from the workout that whole time. But
how hectic is it? Like if I don't know, 100 people, 200 people are doing a pump 30 at the same time, like
well,
can you talk on this a little bit?
It's kind of
people are
mixed
doing different
all over the
things.
place. You'll have people in one corner. I'm pointing like you guys can see, but one corner where they're doing CrossFit. Then you got like Dustin and kind of like his crew, Myers, and they're doing like wrestling, rope stuff, and funky, crazy things with gymnastic rings that I've never seen people do in my life. And then like it's a mix. And then you got the powerlifting stuff going on, and then everybody just mix. And it's like kind of what everybody says because we're all there, same minded, same culture. It's like, hey, just work in. Nobody's mad at you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely different because like you said, Dustin and his crew, like those are some big ass dudes moving around on some rings. Like they should not be moving like that, you know. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool. Like Anthony even like he said something to Corey about it. Like when we were leaving, he was like, well, it was wild because you know you got this crew over here doing powerlifting stuff, this crew over here doing CrossFit stuff. You got dudes doing pump workouts, like in a normal gym setting, like that stuff doesn't mesh, you know, but there it does, you know. So it was super cool.
Yeah. You guys have both referenced Anthony and his speaker series was really cool because you know I'm not a power lifter. I'm in this to like look better, you know, and I didn't even know humans could lift that much as he was saying. Like he's like, yeah, I squatted 1,000 pounds. I was like, what?
Yeah. That dude is insane. That dude is insane. I actually really liked his speech too, the whole like stay hated, mentality or that brand. Like it really resonated with me because number one, it sounds like very negative, stay hated, it sounds like what's this douche talking about? But like the meaning behind it, like people are gonna hate you no matter what you do, so might as well just do what you love and stay hated, and like I don't know, when he was talking about that like that just really resonated with me because it's been so many times in my life where people are like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, go back to school, get your degree, do that, and like I don't think my family hates me, but it's like that mentality where like they're always gonna judge you, they're always gonna tell you something different, might as well just do what you want to do,
Yeah. Even as something as like posting something on Instagram, like people are always like, I get it. You wake up early, you go to the gym. I'm like, why does that bother you? But if I post my kids, they'll say the same thing. Like, we get it. You have kids, like it's just, people are just ready to be annoyed. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why I like do things like my vlogs. I mean, I don't care if people don't like them. I mean, it's just is what it is. And and that was my favorite speaker. And it's always looking because the hardest thing for people, it's easy to be around people that always say, yes, you're doing it, you're killing it. It's a lot tougher to stay that positive and, have that momentum when people are just hating on you. But that's just what you got to do in order to keep rolling with it. And he's proved that so many times throughout all the stages of his career. But Anthony's awesome.
That's the other thing about like that crew too, though, like just being in that community, that environment, like it doesn't matter what you're doing, like that's the most supportive group that you'll ever come across. Like people that I met there for the first time, like Anthony, for example, like I talked to him for a while. I never talked to him before in my life. And I mean, he was more interested in what I'm doing than like my family is, like it was crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what other people are always asking me, like, why do you wake up so early? Like, why do you eat that? And I don't even really explain it anymore. It's just, but that's like the tip of the iceberg. Like this whole momentum that I'm building with this community, the motivation that I find from all of you, like that's like why I do all those things. Like me waking up early is just like the small component that you see. You don't understand how much this is like driving me forward in life.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the like night before? Like because that looked amazing. You know, I see all you guys like playing pool, like smoking a cigar,
Oh yeah.
or even like the brewing company stuff. Because it seems like it's a really long day. You wake up early, you go to the Arnold, you come back, speak a series. Like, can we talk a little bit about that? Because I really didn't hear anybody mention that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
worst part about the Three Tigers Brewing is I was just like right in the middle of contest mode.
Same.
So
Yeah.
one beer was my limit, but and on top of that, I just walked a marathon in the Arnold after getting up at 3:30 in the morning, which I don't do. And that I was a zombie, but I still, that energy is just still flowing, you know. So,
Yeah.
but the Three Tigers was tough because that food looked banging. The old school brown ale was delicious. I probably could have drank at least 4 more of those. But yeah, I'll let somebody else speak on that though, because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's how I was from the night before, from Friday night. You know, like I don't know what time we ended up leaving, you know, the cigar room or whatever, but it was maybe like 9, 10
9:45.
o'clock or something, and man, I couldn't go to sleep. Like we went back to the house, me, Billy, Matt, and Taj. We had a house there, like right there by pretty much like on Denison's campus, and I couldn't sleep, dude. Like I'm like laying in bed, like I'm
Wow.
like. Yeah, I just could not fall asleep. And then the next morning, Billy's like fucking yelling at me. He's like, "Yo, we're ready. Where you at?" I was like, "Oh shit, I'm not even up." Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, like, yeah. So, but yeah, we were there because we do like kind of like a night before session with like the next level group or whatever, you know, just kind of like a cigar hangout type of situation. Which, you know, like Anthony and the whole Narbell crew, like those dudes came through since they were in town and they were leaving early. I think they actually like lifted Saturday morning and like drove back to fucking Kansas, like crazy. But anyways, like yeah, we were there, you know, smoking the cigars. We G gave us the Arnold cigars, you know, the special ones, you know, so that was pretty dope. Really good ones. Had a beer there, you know. It was cool, man. Kicked all their ass in pool. It was a great time.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked to Jake Emery. Jake Emery basically gave the speech that he gave to me to the group at the pre-event, like the whole night, and I talked to him for like so long. But yeah, that was really fun with the seeing everybody. It was definitely like a tighter group with, like you said, the powerlifters and pool, and then I think there were some of investors G had there that are just really cool.
Oh yeah, the
Cool
doctor
guys.
dude. Yeah, Steve,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was super
Orthopedic
cool.
surgeon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
and
mean, it
three
was.
tigers.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about three
But
tigers.
oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, y'all knew, dude. I think Billy and Mike could read on me, dude. I was whipped by the end of that, and I was just so tired. I didn't even finish my freaking beer. Mike finished my freaking beer, and I felt like a puss. But it was good. It was good, and I had a little bit of that food, but then they saw me. I capped that, and I just took it with me. But yeah, it was so much fun, and it was we got to see a lot of other people in there that like we got to see a lot of the Max's other families, like
Yeah.
Small Arms' family, and Jason, and different people in there too. So it's always cool to see. G just has so many connections, and it's always like the most random people, but he only associates with people that really, you know, he trusts. So it was cool talking to all the people that he's connected with. So all in all,
Yeah.
it's a whirlwind, but you just got to experience it as much as you can without passing out on the way home.
Yeah.
The other thing was too, like just to like touch on like the like quality of those people, like how they treat you. Like I was like talking to Jacob Emery like maybe 2 weeks before we went out there, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do a podcast with you." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually gonna be up there for Beats and Barbells, so let's just do it live." And I flew in like early Friday morning, and he was like, "Yeah, let's, you know, just come straight to Old School or whatever, to Max, and you know, we'll shoot it." And so like I'm expecting like I just roll in there, we shoot a podcast, I'm out of there. Not at all what happened. Like I roll in there, we must have talked for like 2 hours. Then we recorded a 2 hour podcast, and then we hung out for like another hour. And then Billy and Matt came and picked me up as they got in town. So it was like like somebody like that, he runs his business, I think is going to do like 22 million this year or something like that. It's like that guy has way more important things to do than spend 5 hours with me. But that's just like the quality of those people around there, like I don't know, like that really like meant a lot to me, just for somebody like that to give me that type of time, and to be more interested in me than I was in him, honestly. Like he was like more interested in my life, and I'm like, dude, I'm nobody, like you're
Yeah.
fucking crushing it.
No, that's amazing. The whole thing sounds amazing. It just gets me really excited for 100 days from now. I'd like to transition a little bit. Mike, you put out a really good video today, just about being in this like little bit of a funk, like getting things together, maybe staying up too late. And I think a lot of the guys really related to that in the group chat, just in this like post-contest fatigue kind of thing where maybe Billy, you could even speak on this a little bit, where at the end, especially like you're cutting calories so low, like you're really depriving yourself. And now like you peaked and now it's kind of like, well, what's the point? I just did this contest. Let's talk a little bit about this, maybe from your perspective first, Mike, and how you're feeling now about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I just kind of go through like these ruts here and there, where getting up in the morning, there's a little bit more negotiation than needs to be, But I like what I've kind of noticed is like it's times when I need it the most, is like when I start to like have these little speed bumps, like, right now I'm dealing with buying a house, I got normal work shit, which is like going crazy, I'm super busy with work stuff, a lot of changes in my department, taking on extra roles, a lot of moving pieces. Then I got also like the next level community, I'm trying to grow that. And, so there's just a lot of different things going on, but I don't know. It's just it's funny because like usually when that happens, like I'll feel like the weight on my shoulders the most and the least motivated to execute when it's like, it needs to be the opposite, Um, to your point, it's like you're locked in for so long, and then you get a little bit extra on your plate, and then all of a sudden you want to fold. It's like, well, dude, what you were locked in for so long, like what's preventing you from just keeping the pedal on the gas or the foot on the gas, so I don't know. It's definitely interesting. Like and like what I was kind of like trying to hint on this morning is like you can think of all these different things. Oh, I went from, AF 101 or 101 and a half, whatever I was doing to, doing the busy diet. Could that be it? Could it be the lack of the sleep? Could it be this? And like I'll catch myself kind of in those thought processes and it's like it doesn't fucking matter what it is, like it just you just gotta figure it out and keep moving, like it could be that I need to eat extra fats. It could be I need to go to bed a little bit earlier. It could be all these things, but at the end of the day, like nobody cares about like the excuses, like you still just got to keep it moving. You still got to get it done. And so like that's like a lot of the conversations I have with myself are like that, it's like I'll be running those thoughts through my mind. And then at the end of it, I'm like, no one fucking cares, Mike. Like no one wants to hear your pity party, dude. Like just keep it moving, Like no one cares,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
and that's honestly a lot of the reason why like I've been like trying to stay committed to posting those videos is like, a lot of times on social media you see everybody's highlight reels, and you don't see the roller coaster ride of a life that everybody goes through. And that's good tying even back to like the Beats and Barbells speeches, like you heard a lot of that. And like I'm at a position in my life where that stuff means more to me than, gaining knowledge from some sort of speech or conference or whatever, like hearing people's journeys and what they struggled with. It's like, all right, cool. He's just like me. He had his challenges and he made it through. So I just got to keep my head down, keep moving, and I'll get through them too.
Yeah. Well said, Mike. Billy, how are you feeling in like the post-contest window? Because obviously you got completely shredded. You said you hadn't eaten a carb in like 30 days. But after the contest, were you like just like crushing donuts, or you still feel good now?
No donuts yet. Maybe that's this weekend. I don't know. Luckily the Girl Scout cookies are almost gone.
Yeah.
That was my treat pre-picture. Which actually peak week was kind of crazy because I took this, I think I've mentioned it a few times, but I took this contest as a big like experimental, if that's a word, process. But I really kind of stepped outside of, we'll say, the protocols. But I just wanted to try like test some different things and see how I reacted. I think the results were pretty good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll say.
But overall, I was really happy with it. But the peak week was a big challenge because it was so much different than what I did the previous 3 contests that I think my body reacted a lot differently with the carb reintroduction than it did because I just haven't had them. Like, I think my body was almost like, what are these? We don't know what to do with these energy cells all of a sudden. And so it took a lot longer to see the, like last year when I ate a sleeve of Oreos, it was within like probably, I would say like 60 seconds. Like you just saw like it was like just lighten up through the body, where this year I was just like, dude, nothing's happening. I actually called my mom afterwards because she sent me home it was like Tuesday night or something. She sent me home with some pecan sticky buns, and I put them in the I put them in the freezer. I was like, I can't. I got 3 days. You know what? And it's mom's homemade cooking. And I finally was like, screw it. I'm eating this sticky bun. I might be done with pictures. I was like, it's whatever. And I ate that sticky bun, and I tell you like that. It was like just sucked. I was like, just needed mom's cooking, man.
Finishing touch.
But it was pretty crazy. So I think I just needed to do so much more carbs because I hadn't had any of that, and I cut the fat pretty low too the final week because I reintroduced carbs on Wednesday night, I think it was. So I started with like a half a sweet potato, and then just ramped it up with rice cakes. And I actually ended up, it's kind of crazy because it like going back to what we were talking about with all the event and the community and everything, is like Corey actually said, just call me or message me. And I'm like, that's dumb. There's no way. Like you don't care about my contest pictures or my questions about how my body's reacting. Like you have so much going on. And I thought I sent a message. I sent it and I said, you idiot, unsend. So I thought I unsent it. And then all of a sudden, G's like, yeah, what you got? And I was like, oh, crap. Now I feel like a dummy. I actually told him about that. He laughed at me. And he gave me good advice. He's like, dude, you need to hit carbs hard, like with what you were doing. And so he kind of hooked me up there.
Even just the fact that G like will respond to anybody, any of us, is like amazing. Speaks volumes for him.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, and I actually really enjoyed it. I did the carnivore diet, and it was something I always wanted to do for a long time. So I was like, what a perfect time to do it. And it actually worked out really well. I was surprised how good it was. I mean, I noticed things on my skin clearing up, so I get the benefit of it, but I just don't know if it's really like the type of thing I want to do like for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you had amazing results. I think the back shot will be ingrained in our minds. That was amazing. Evan, you're still going in the contest. Anything that you're planning on doing maybe towards the end in your peak week that might be different? Like Billy was saying, year over year, maybe things are different.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. This year's been real crazy with all the life events that's going on with me. So stress is definitely, look, I know people say stress but it plays a huge factor. Even if you like say, oh, I'm not stressed, your body knows when it's stressed and it knows when it's undergoing it, and it'll just do weird, crazy stuff all the time. So actually, this coming week, it'll be the final date. I gotta handle all that stuff. So that'll be the end of that. But really it's I'm just going into it just like I normally do. I normally taper carbs. So like I say I taper the protocols. So normally I'm like usually at 102, and that's maintenance for me. And then I'll do like 101.5. Then I'll do 101. And then I'll do busy diet. And then I'll pretty much do not quite carnivore, but I'll do straight up keto where it's just avocado, or fats and protein. And that definitely depletes. It was really cool hearing Billy. Billy had like a smorgasbord of protocols he was trying out, so that was really cool hearing all that stuff. And so yeah, I'll be doing that. And peak week, I think a lot of people approached it really well this year, and I tried to reinforce it too, because like I think a lot of us, like, we give feedback and we give advice based on stuff we've either screwed up or we're currently screwing up on. So I was telling everybody not to stress it. I know JV was definitely tapering it back a lot. And
Yeah.
I mean, he got in really good shape. So that's going to be my thing, is going into it very, very calm and just, just do business. And, it's like I said, and you guys already know, you can do all the little parlor tricks during peak week. And don't get me wrong. I mean, they, if you've put in the work, that's the key word there. Preface. If you've put in the work, and when I mean the work, I mean lunges, extra ab work, all the extra conditioning, everything. If you don't do any of that, it's like baking a cake. I mean, that's literally all the little peak week stuff. That's not even the icing. That's like the fondant, like the little fake flour stuff on top of the cake. He ain't done any of the other stuff. That stuff ain't gonna matter at all whatsoever. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm about to, right after this, I'm about to hit my nightly abs. It's 250 crunches, 250 weighted crunches, and 100 ab wheels. So you got to just put in that work. And I know some people don't have to train abs. That's cool. I do. So that's just what it is. So
Ryan
but
Johnson.
no, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude. You know what I mean? But look, he even pointed out that when he's deadlifts and squatting, he's engaging his core so much, and that makes sense. That
Yeah.
that's what they're for there. So I'm excited. Honestly, I know I'm the one guy everyone's waiting on because I waited last. But honestly, just seeing everyone, and I'm sure y'all can relate, just seeing everyone go through the process, and I'll tell you some of the most inspiring stuff is, dude, I'm pretty sure everyone has gone through some hardship, in some way, shape, or form this whole contest, and seeing people go through that and pull themselves out of it and persevere through, that is the most awe-inspiring stuff to me, because that's what it's about. Because no one's just going to have a green light way to have abs. It's not always going to be sunny day to do lunges. It's not going to be a not crowded gym. It is navigating through life to seek out the thing that you want. So that's the thing I'm most proud of, and the most I've been saying it and hitting at it, but it's this is like there was like Arnold and Frank Zane and all them, and this is like our pumping iron of I want abs this year. That's what I feel like this is. This is the group right here. So anyway, that was a rant.
No, it's okay. Mike, you mentioned before, like the human connection that like Anthony or some of the other speakers that you felt like you really had with them. It's like, I wish I could read everybody's like why they won. I love like the human connection and motivation. And Darren did share what he wrote, and I love reading stuff like that. That is like, it motivates me so much, and it really feels like I connect with you guys. So, I love this contest. I think there's so much that is involved, and it's just like it's wrapping up. It went so fast this year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard too. I didn't really hit on that, Seth. That's the like after the contest, which we've been talking about, like what do you do now?
Yeah,
and it's like I'm trying not to let myself spiral too out of control. I'm almost treating it like AF vacation rules a little bit. So my spikes are a little more cheaty, but I also want to make sure like we're zooming out and seeing where we're at. Grand scheme of things, because it's so easy to just blow back up. And that's kind of what my focus is now, is trying to stay more in that lower weight, leaned out, and realizing peak week is like Evan told Darren, that's peak week for a reason. You're at the peak of your physical look, so you're not going to stay that the rest of the way. So the perspective of it, and if you zoom out where you started, where you're at now, I mean, you're still light years ahead. 3 months from now, you're gonna be ahead from that.
I think that's powerful. That's a good point. And I've seen some messages in the group chat. It'd be like, "Oh, we're almost there. Almost done." And I'd kind of chirp back at it and be like, "We're not fucking done. The contest is coming to an end, but like, don't go back to like how you fucking looked. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like some of those messages like piss me off because I'm like, like the reason my before photos I had abs is because I don't fucking go off the rails, like I stay within the boundaries. And like the biggest thing is that I realize is like once you get to a level that you're comfortable in, it's so easy to maintain, like for me, I mean, I can literally, I obviously I'm a little bit younger. I got better metabolism or faster metabolism, whatever it could be, genetics, whatever it is, but I mean, I could get away with eating candy every single night and like I would still look like this. Like it's fine. So it's like whatever that like to your point, Billy, it's
Learn
like,
that.
yeah, exactly. Whatever your boundaries are, like you'll figure it out. Stay within those boundaries. You just keep compounding year over year. It's not such a big deal, you know, to do these contests and shit like that. Like you're already halfway there. Maybe it's just 10 weeks of tightening everything up, you know, and like that's almost how it was for me. Um, so yeah, anybody that's like watching this or whatever, you're finishing up or you're done, don't go off the fucking rails. Like stick to the lunges, you know, stick to the workouts, stick to the diets, you know, like have, you know, just like G talks about, have your cheats Wednesday, Friday, Saturday if you want. If you can't do Wednesday, Friday, Saturday because it takes you off the rails, only do Friday, Saturday. Like figure out what those boundaries are for you and just lock in. And you know, it's not going to be all these, you know, major changes you have to go through again and these major like lifestyle changes, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, like this shit is so easy to do over time. Like it's so simple, you know, especially with the pump 30s now, the workouts are so short, you know, conditioning, you don't even got to do the lunges, do the freaking hill walk or whatever, you know, on the treadmill, the incline treadmill. And, you know, I mean, the AF diet is so simple, you know, it's impossible to not make this concrete lifestyle.
Yeah, Mike, you wrapped up everything that I wanted to say. You nailed it. Yeah, we just keep getting better and don't let yourself go backwards. But Mike, I do have to say before we wrap this up, Airbnb, that's got to be #1 priority next month or as soon as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. I gotta get it locked in for sure.
All right, good shit. Any real quick closing remarks or should we hang this up?
Lock in.
All right. I'm Danny Sess. And that's what we're saying, boys.
Lock in.